I can't turn it off. I don't know how not to think about nature and how not to obsess about it. But I started doing art originally based on clouds. I started actually as a coder, as a visual artist doing video art. And basically what I was doing is taking photos and videos of clouds, real videos, and manipulating it with different scripts and codes. I really was into kaleidoscopes. I wrote my own kaleidoscope code. And those are obviously very inspired by nature and fractals and the patterns that I saw within leaves. I mean, everything really is, when you look at nature, it's so geometric, right? There's something so mathematical about it. And so when I first started doing video art, it was very easy. I wasn't really in nature as I am now. Essentially, the opportunities came to me to start doing installations for festivals or, these day and night experiences. And basically video art and projections were not a daytime solution. And I had an opportunity where someone challenged me. They said, show us why you deserve the money to do something like this. That's how my whole dichroic sculpture series was born 4.5 years ago. Honestly, it sounds so silly when I tell the story, but I was driving down Collins on South Beach, and I was like, what do I do? I don't know how to do this. I don't know how, I need to make it all make sense. And I had this scrap of dichroic film for 4 years. And one day I was just looking at the shadows of the palm trees, right? And so when you're driving down Collins at like 3 p.m., it's all shadows on the road, right? And it's like each palm tree looks like a sculpture. And I just remember I was like, that's it. It's that simple. And so I came home, I made a palm tree, and I made a couple monstera leaves, a bunch of monsteras in a pool with 2 palm trees flanking it, and it said, "You'll miss me when I'm gone." And I sent it out in an email to a couple of clients. Somehow my clients believed in me. They accepted my pitches. I got sponsored that year for Art Basel. Having an art career is always a lot of really intense belief in yourself. And I don't know if that's confidence or just being at the right place at the right time, but it's something about really trusting the process, And I think that plants have completely taught me that. I've been taking a lot of workshops, a lot of just like trying to learn information from other people that are farmers mostly, and how we cultivate plants. And I think cultivating the plants has also taught me how to cultivate myself, right? Because we need the right conditions. It's like my plant can be on that side of the yard versus this one and it'll die in a day. And that's because the watering conditions aren't right, the sun condition, it's all of these little things make the bigger picture. I was actually born in Belarus, but I grew up in Nebraska. And actually my grandmother is someone who was very interested in plants. I know that she knew all the names of them, like the actual Latin species. Well, I don't know that. She definitely, I think that's somewhere in me, because when I was growing up in Omaha, Nebraska, my mom was very into gardening. My parents really encouraged me to be creative. I think I was in painting classes when I was like 10. And those are all landscape paintings now that I think about it. I've been very interested in clouds. Before I got really into plants, I'm still very interested in clouds, obviously. And just weather patterns. I think there's something even less permanent about the movement of weather that I've always been really inspired by. I was like, what do I have to do to go around the world studying trees and fruit? And I mean, I don't even know about studying, but just bringing it home. And so I think I got really into plants once I started going to Fairchild. So reading about how Miami didn't exist really until the orange freeze of 1904. And maybe that is a bigger story about Miami, as it's a city of transplants and all these different people kind of coming together and finding a home here. I think there's a bigger story that I always see in all these trees and where they're from. And at Fairchild specifically, they have the African forest, this, and everything does so well. There's something so cool about that. And I think Miami has shown me what home can be, and that home beyond a place is really this feeling. I think nature has made everything feel like home. We'll see shortly my show at the Miami Beach Botanical Garden, which is my first one, and then I have 3 other shows at botanical gardens this year. So really, I've embraced on this next chapter where I want to be doing these installations in places that inspire me versus the more traditional museum or gallery. While it's great, when I see my art in nature, like it clicks, you know, and it clicks for other people too. And I think that's what I'm so desperately searching for within these collaborations and these communities. Going to a museum or a white wall gallery, it feels almost too clean. So I've been working with the scent artist to make people feel like they're in the middle of a jungle when they're looking at my art, because I think that's what's missing. And then I have my partner who creates bird sounds from actual birds from Greenpeace, and he speeds them up, slows them down. It's like, I'm trying to recreate this hypnotic sense that I feel in nature for people with my art. I think that's first and foremost. I'm trying to tell people to look around. When I think about plants, I really think about the grand adventure around us. I think nature is this journey that we are a part of, whether or not, I mean, most people spend so much time inside, but I think if we're able to look outside a little more too, this is a bigger message that like people spend so much time looking down. Like that's why I started to say, don't forget to look up, because we're always looking at our phones, right? And quite physically looking down, we're looking at the floor, we're looking at this. And that I found for myself, the more I put my phone down, or the more I could just stop and take a break in nature, whether that's like just laying for 10 minutes looking at the clouds or watering the garden. I found that it had such a profound impact on my mental health that if I could just encourage other people to just don't forget to look around and realize how lucky we are to be where we are, to be alive in this time, I think people could see like the grand journey around us.